Happening now. Feels like the kids shouldn't even be in school. We've got some fantastic unfall weather. We'll see how long our luck may run out. Paula?
Hi, Ben. We have late-breaking and fast-moving developments in the case of a judge who actually granted joint legal custody to a convicted sexual assaulter and the child who resulted because of that assault. It is a shocker, Karen, to the very end. This just happened. We've got the latest.
All right, Paula, also ahead, another local mother faces a court battle over vaccinating her daughter. We have the story behind her fight. Up first, prosecutors want to upgrade the criminal charges against Michigan's chief medical executive over her role in the Flint water crisis. First at 4 starts now.
Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Karen Drew. First at 4, the criminal investigation that began after the Flint water crisis has taken another turn. Prosecutors are seeking new felony charges against a high-ranking state official. Jason Colthorpe is in the newsroom with the very latest developments. Jason.
Karen, the charge is a serious one, too. Involuntary manslaughter against Dr. Eden Wells, the state's chief medical executive. Prosecutors announced they're seeking the new charge this morning in Flint, where Dr. Wells was facing a preliminary examination hearing on other charges stemming from the Flint water crisis. This comes as part of the state attorney general's investigation into the changing of the source of Flint's water supply, which led to damage done to the water pipes and dangerous levels of lead in the drinking water. Plus, also cases of Legionnaire's disease in Flint, which some experts have linked to the changes in Flint's water. Before today, Dr. Wells faced charges of obstruction of justice and lying to a police officer for her alleged actions during the early stages of the water crisis. The manslaughter charge here is related to a death from a victim of Legionnaire's disease. A conviction on that charge could lead to a prison term of up to 15 years. Dr. Wells is one of 15 people facing criminal charges in the Flint water crisis. 5 other defendants are also facing charges of involuntary manslaughter, including the director of Michigan's Department of Health and Human Services and a former emergency manager for the city of Flint. Attorneys for Dr. Wells say the new charges came out of the blue. They only heard about them when they were announced this morning. The defender's Kevin Dietz now has been following this criminal investigation for months, as you know. He'll have more on this new development coming up tonight at 5. For now, back to you, Karen.
All right. Thank you very much, Jason. Another big story we're following this afternoon. A family drama is playing out in a courtroom once again as another local mom is fighting the father of her child over vaccinations. Today, Lori Matheson testified before a judge saying she has many reasons for not vaccinating her daughter, such as autoimmune disorders in her family, religious beliefs, and claiming to have full decision-making rights over her ex-husband.
I have vast issues with autoimmune disorders in my family, including myself. And these are predispositions to vaccine injury, and I want every stone to be turned, to be checked, to make sure that my daughter is not going to get, or is not, I guess, predisposed to injuries with the vaccine ingredients.
The father's attorney claims the vaccines are recommended by a doctor and cleared by the church. But Matheson says even if her daughter took a test and did not have an autoimmune disorder, she still would not vaccinate. Michael Schmidt will testify Thursday at 9 a.m. Meantime, Rebecca Bretto, who went to jail last week for signing a consent order that she would vaccinate her son, then refusing to vaccinate him, was released today. She was in court October 4th over a similar situation, fighting with her former husband over the vaccination plan for their 9-year-old son. They had a signed court document where Bretto agreed to the vaccinations. Since she didn't follow that legal document or judge's orders, she went to jail. The boy's father has temporary custody until the vaccinations are brought up to date. We are also working a story this afternoon about claims of police using excessive force inside the mire at 8 Mile and Woodward. Now, there is video of the incident. Our Coco McAvoy is talking to both sides. Coco.
Take a look at this video. The video shows a Detroit police officer arresting a man for disorderly conduct. But it's this part of the video that has people outraged.
Oh! Hey.
The girlfriend of the man who was arrested is speaking out.
It was complete chaos, and I just couldn't believe it was happening.
We'll tell you how this all started and how the Detroit Police Department is responding.
We have breaking news in a controversial custody case that sparked a lot of outrage over the weekend. A judge in Sanilac County awarded custody of an 8-year-old boy to the man who allegedly raped the child's mother when she was just 12 years old. Well, now there is a new twist this afternoon. Let's bring Paula Tutman in. She's been working this story all day. And Paula, you're telling us there's a settlement, I understand.
We just got a call, really not even an hour ago. I do want to say that this man went to jail for sexually assaulting this woman. It was a plea down. Lots of people were outraged. We're talking about the lieutenant governor who actually posted he'll find a remedy on social media, a former state rep who actually pushed through a law that essentially took away automatically rights of those who are convicted of sexual assault from parenting the children that are produced of that. The CEO of Haven actually said this stops this woman's healing. And then this cliffhanger early this morning. Let's take you back to where this began. She's a woman now, but when she was raped, she was a child, just 12 years old. She was held against her will and sexually assaulted and impregnated. Convicted from a plea down deal of third-degree attempted criminal sexual assault and spending only 6 months in jail for the crime, Christopher Mirasolo. When he got out, he actually raped again and was convicted. This time, it was a 14-year-old.
If he would have got the time that he was supposed to, it never would have happened.
It's now 8 years later, and the first known victim has a son. That son has a stepfather, the only father that little boy has ever known. In fact, he never even knew he was a child of rape until a Sanilac County judge, Gregory Ross, granted joint legal custody of the boy to his convicted rapist father last September. The boy's mother, who we are concealing because she is a rape survivor, is horrified.
I have no protection through them at all. He has my address now. He, if he wanted to, he could come to my house if he wanted to. He gets off parole in July of next year, and after that there is not a no contact order anymore. So that will be dropped when he gets off parole. So I have no protection from him at all.
An hour ago, Barbara Yockey, Christopher Mirasolo's attorney, called me and said that early this morning, she and the attorney of the boy's mother reached an agreement. And while she would not say exactly what's in that agreement, I was able to extract the following. Christopher will not pursue a relationship with the child. He says he will not make contact with the mother. And he also says he will continue child support payments.
I spoke to the mother's attorney this morning, and we have privately resolved this. And that is how it should have been handled from the start. What's very frustrating to me is there's a child involved here. This never should have been put out in the public domain.
Well, but the fact of the matter, Karen, is it was put out in the public domain because we have an open court system. And this is something that really is very interesting and important to a lot of people. And there's one more thing I want to quickly unpack. There is a big difference between not pursuing a relationship with a child and not wanting a relationship with a child. And those are two very, very different things. There's supposed to be a hearing a little later this month. I think it's on the 22nd. Still not sure whether or not that hearing is going to take place. And in fact, a call just came in from the mother's attorney. I do want to confirm with her these details. We'll have that today at 6. Karen?
An unbelievable and heartbreaking story. All right, we'll check back with you a little bit later, Paula, on this developing news. In today's first forecast, let's take a quick look at some more beautiful fall weather. Ben, the sun's shining, and we sure got a lot of it this weekend.
Yeah, we did, Karen. Temperatures really running well above average for this time of year. In fact, we're starting to get a little bit closer to record territory, which is in the mid-80s for today. We are 79 right now at Metro, mid to upper 70s pretty much throughout the entire area right now, and there's tons of sunshine to go along with it. We'll be seeing some patchy fog develop tonight. We'll look at the timing on that. Another shot of rain shows up midweek, even though a lot of us got plenty over the last several days. And cooler temperatures all week after this. This is going to be one of our warmest numbers for a while. Don't forget, you can get weather alerts on your phone and also check the 10-day forecast, which has those temperatures in it on our local forecasters app. As always, download it for free in your app store by searching WDIV. Karen?
The Trump administration is about to make good on its earlier pledges to undo clean air rules put into effect under former President Barack Obama. Environmental Protection Agency Administrator Scott Pruitt says he will sign new rules tomorrow repealing the Obama administration's Clean Power Plan, which regulated greenhouse gas emissions. Pruitt announced his plans during an appearance in Kentucky coal country today. He declared, quote, "The war on coal is over." The new rule won't take effect for several months and may face court challenges from environmental groups. First at 4, we're on top of stories making headlines all around the world this Monday. We start with another tricky decision facing the Trump White House, whether to impose new sanctions on Iran. Today, Iran is calling that idea a, quote, strategic mistake by the United States. A spokesman for the foreign ministry says such a decision would be followed by a, quote, crushing response from Iran. Many expect President Trump will decertify the existing nuclear deal with Iran and several other countries. Later this week, that decision is likely to come with new sanctions against Iran. The deadline for the president's decision, October 15th. It was a terrifying scene overnight over in Northern California's wine country. We're just hearing one person is dead in these fires and 2 injured. Firefighters are battling flames in several spots in the hills surrounding Napa and Sonoma County. Evacuation orders had residents grabbing what they could and then running away from those fires. One person said the flames look like an inferno. A fire chief says at least 1,500 structures have been destroyed. Powerful winds and dry conditions are putting the whole area at risk. On the other side of the country, tornadoes are being reported in North Carolina thanks to the remnants of Hurricane Nate. Thousands of people lost their power, several homes destroyed, and schools opened late to give people extra time to cope with the storm damage. The National Weather Service will travel to several areas to confirm if this was indeed tornado damage. Still ahead, buyer beware when it comes to Halloween costumes, a reminder about some of the pitfalls you need to avoid. Also ahead, Dove Soap stumbles into a public relations nightmare with this commercial. What the company is saying this afternoon about the ad. Up first, Walmart looking to upgrade customer service, the retailer's new plan to save you time and make trouble for Amazon. We'll be right back.
After the
Walmart making a bold promise as it tries to compete with Amazon. The retailer says it wants to drastically cut the amount of time it takes to return items bought online. Right now, online returns at Walmart stores take an average of about 5 minutes. The store says a new mobile express returns program could cut the wait to just 30 seconds. You'll start the process on the Walmart app, then scan the item in a special express lane at a store to get your refund. The program starts next month. Well, if you are still looking for that perfect Halloween costume, don't forget it is buyer beware online. Experts warn you can be tricked into buying costumes that are poor quality, or scammers can even take advantage, taking your money and never sending you the costume. Beware of words like cheap or discount that might lead you to companies that you've never heard about. And also don't forget to use extra caution when buying those novelty contact lenses or any makeup that could be counterfeit. Those items can seriously lead to some painful permanent damage. Well, I got the chance to walk out and get a little iced coffee this afternoon, and I did. It felt like summer.
I mean, we're almost in the middle of October.
It is
and
a
you're
little
ordering
strange.
Iced coffee.
know. I'm not ready for the hot stuff yet.
We've got some more 70s in the forecast, but we are going to be taking a step back. This is probably as good as it's going to get here for a while. But I wanted to show you the last 24 hours because we've been on quite a little roller coaster here. We had the clouds come in late yesterday afternoon, and we got brushed by Nate, or at least what's left of Nate, as it moves off to the northeast. Some of us got a good amount of rain, and considering that we also had areas of rain earlier from last week and the early parts of the weekend, there were a lot of spots picked up over an inch of rain since Thursday night. So that's made a pretty good dent in some of our rainfall deficits. We could still use some more, and we are going to get some as we head towards the middle of this week. But you see the clouds that have started to move out, and that's allowed sunshine to be with us pretty much all day. Close to 80 degrees here in the heart of the area. 79 in Metro, 79 in Monroe right now, and mid-70s once you get north of the city. Compared to where we were yesterday on Sunday afternoon, it's really noticeable once you get down here in our south zone, almost 10 degrees warmer in Monroe compared to where we were yesterday. So as far as tracking that next chance of rain, it's going to be coming in here midweek. We've got a dry night tonight, but with clear skies, and there is some moisture out there as temperatures fall. There's going to be a little bit of patchy fog that starts moving in as we head towards tomorrow morning. Probably not all that widespread. and maybe not that dense, but it's going to be noticeable in a couple spots. Get through the day Tuesday dry, and then once we get into Wednesday morning, a little bit closer to midday, we'll start seeing a couple scattered showers around, but it looks like the bigger push of moisture is going to be coming in the afternoon and evening hours. And this is going to be some noticeable rain, measurable rain across almost the entire area. And then as we get into Thursday, that's when things start to dry out. It's going to take a while for those clouds to move. And so temperatures are going to be on the cooler side of things once we get here for the next several days. 54 tonight. We'll call it clear and comfortable with that fairly low humidity, but there will be some patchy fog develop as we head towards tomorrow morning. Here are the high temperatures, not quite what we got today, but at least we'll get to 70 degrees here at the city. And then in our south zone, probably low 70s here in most locations, but it's a lot of 60s in our west zone. 67 in Howell. Fenton will be at 66. Novi 69 degrees tomorrow afternoon. And a cool one in our north zone, or at least closer to average, we should say. 61 in Sandusky. Yale, you'll be at 64, and Macomb and Romeo in the mid-60s tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures continue going down with that good chance of rain there on Wednesday. We start to rebound going into the weekend, and we will have a dry stretch here Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, but it looks like we're going to close things out on Sunday with a chance of showers and storms. So temperatures are going to be a little bit closer to average after today's overachieving numbers. But I think after what we've gone through, it's about time for October to show itself as we head towards the middle of the month. Karen?
Still ahead, Hollywood's A-list is starting to turn on Harvey Weinstein. Oscar winner Meryl Streep releases her first statement on the scandal, what she says about the allegations, and the women who toppled the powerful producer. Up first, Dove feels the heat over a controversial commercial. We'll talk about that and have the company's apology. But first, as we go to break, here's your look at how the markets have closed for the day.
The Local 4.
In today's trending stories on this Monday, a lot of people are talking about this ad. It's from Dove Soap, and even the company is admitting it messed up. The 3-second GIF showed a black woman taking off a sweater to reveal a white woman underneath. Screenshots started popping up all over social media, with critics calling the ad racist. The company has pulled the ad and tweeted an apology, saying it had, quote, missed the mark in representing women of color thoughtfully. By the way, this isn't the first time Dove has been criticized for racial insensitivity. Another ad caused a big backlash back in 2011. Well, this story was trending throughout the weekend and also today. Now that Harvey Weinstein has been fired from his powerful movie company, some celebrities that he has worked with, well, they're starting to condemn his alleged behavior. Oscar winner Meryl Streep has released a statement, and that statement, it talks about sexual harassment claims against Weinstein going back some 30 years. Now, Streep says she did not know about the allegations. She also says, quote, if everybody knew, I don't believe that all the investigative reporters in the entertainment and hard news media would have neglected for decades to write about it. And the intrepid women who raised their voices to expose this abuse are our heroes. Still ahead, caught on camera, some unlikely burglars inside a pizza place. Why the business owners are concerned this could happen more often. We'll be right back.
He nearly destroyed his body, his relationships, and his life.
I was snorting 3 or 4 grams of cocaine, heroin, crack, crystal meth.
A drug addict, he lost almost everything.
I felt, abandoned, isolated, depressed a lot.
Until one day, he found a life-saving answer.
I want people to know they do not have to use drugs anymore.
Tonight at 11, from drug addict to Iron Man, the inspirational journey one man took to get his life back, and the lesson in it for all of us.
It's easy to say.
Well, finally, first at 4, a mama bear and her cubs must be getting tired of porridge because they were caught breaking into a pizza place over the weekend. Remember the other day we did the story about the beer in the car?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Now they're hitting pizza joints.
Well, they're hungry and they know where the good stuff is. Take a look at the security camera from a pizzeria in a small northern Colorado town. You can see the mama bear opening up a refrigerator where she pulled out some food for her cubs to snack on.
It's pretty cool. While the video is kind of funny, there is obviously a serious problem in that area. The pizza place says new bear-proof dumpsters are causing bears to go into homes and businesses to look for food before they hibernate for the winter.
I mean, if you're going to go in there, just get yourself a pizza, Why go to the refrigerator?
Some skills. I didn't realize how, good they were with their paws, but it is scary. All right, thanks so much for spending part of your afternoon with us watching First at 4. We will be back in a half hour with Local 4 News at 5. Inside Edition is next.